Hi folks, the Filipina P here, and it's that time of the month again. Time to reach into the mailbag and read some of the emails I get from you viewers who have questions or problems. As always, I'm flattered that you asked me.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Matthew and Carlene channel. Today we are reacting to, you guessed it, the Filipina P. Now, personally, if you are thinking about becoming a passport bro or a second type of passport bro, which is what me and Carlene are doing, I definitely recommend her content. She gives really great content that is very super helpful. So let's get into it.
For help, and I promise to give you my best advice. And you're gonna need it, because today we've got a girlfriend who acts like a human boomerang, a woman who keeps liquidating everything she's given, and a Filipina who just doesn't seem to know when to keep her clothes on. Don't you just hate it when that happens? So let's get started, shall we? The first email is from Alan C. in Angel Home, Sweden. What a cool name, Angel Home. I hope I pronounced that right. Alan writes, Dear P, I need to know what craziness is afflicting my girlfriend in Manila. I try to make her life easier because she has tough times living with her mother, so I sent her money to buy a clothes washer. But then the money goes to something else, and still no clothes washer. So I buy it myself and have it sent to her house. She takes a photo of it and says thanks to me, but 1 week later we talk on video, and I see there is no clothes washer. When I ask her where, she says she has to pawn it. And when she told me how much money she got, I felt sick and very mad. She did the same thing with the tools I left when I was there. And she said she will get them, but now she can't anymore. I tell her that she wastes money, but she doesn't understand. And she says she needs to pawn it. I'm very upset, and I don't know why she does this. Please help before I make a bad decision. She can get the clothes washer, but if I send her money to get it, the money might disappear again. Is this normal? Okay, Alan, I'm sorry to hear that you have to deal with this. I don't want to say it's normal, but I will say it's not uncommon. Many Filipinos just don't understand money, how to make it, how to spend it, or how to save it. We only have experience with one of those, spending it. When we need cash, which is just about all the time, if there's something in our house.
Okay, on this subject comes the money. I can tell you from first-hand experience as a secondary type of passport bro, don't send money over to her, especially not huge amounts under any circumstances. If you're going to send allowance to her, okay, but like I said, make sure it's very small, like not huge amounts, and also don't even think about it until after you give your Filipina or any other girl you're talking to from overseas what I personally call the ultimate trust test. And I mean the ultimate one. Now, you guys want to know what the ultimate trust test is? We covered that in a previous episode on Passport Bros Risk Debunk. So feel free to go over that. Now, let's get back into it.
That we don't absolutely need, it gets taken to the pawn shop. We only get a fraction of what something's worth, and if we don't claim it within a couple of months, it's gone for good. And given the way Filipinos are with money, the items usually stay at the pawn shop. We don't think about what a bad deal we're getting because in our way of thinking, any peso is a good peso, and we'll take it. So, what can you do in your situation? Well, if you can't trust your Filipino with your money, and your tools apparently, then I'm not sure what to tell you. To get the washer back, you could tell her that she has one last chance to go to the pawn shop and get it. And if she ever tries to pawn it again, then you'll never send her another peso. Just stop sending her money or trying to make her life easier until you're together in person. And then I'm afraid you're gonna have to handle all the finances yourself. About your only other option is to minimize the future damage by nuking the relationship before it gets any farther. But that would be something you'd have to decide. Best of luck, my friend. Okay, next we have from Thomas G. in Chilliwack, Canada, who writes, Hello, Miss P. I'm hoping you can help me with my relationship. Well, I'll certainly try, Thomas. I met a woman online about 2 years ago, and everything was fine for a while, maybe like for the first few months. We talked all the time, and then we said we're engaged. I told her I was going to see her as soon as the Philippines started letting people in. But then without any warning, she said she wanted to break up because she said it was taking too long and she stopped talking to me. That really hurt, but after a few weeks, I just accepted it and I was ready to move on. Then, she wrote me back and said she was sorry and wanted to try again. Boom! It was like nothing had ever happened and I was happy again. We stayed like that for almost a whole year, but a few months before I was supposed to leave, she did the same thing again and called off our engagement. Okay, I've already got a lot to say, but I'll wait till the end. She said she needed to think about things, and now when I message her, I don't know if she's even reading it. I haven't heard from her since August, but I already have my plane tickets and I still love her. Should I keep trying to change her mind or should I just cancel the trip and forget about her? Oh my, Thomas. Where to begin? Okay, first of all, I know this might not sound right to you, but the first thing you have to realize is that you were never really engaged to this woman, if she was even a woman. You never met her in person, so you're not sure. She was just a person you were chatting with. That's all.
This subject. Yep. I myself have had minor experience with this particular issue. Minor. It didn't go so far as where this guy's gone to, but I had a minor situation, slightly similar. Regardless, these types of situations is the reason why I recommend you get the basic concept of dating down with the girl you're talking to from overseas, which is regular, face-to-face, very open, broad, non-trigger conversations over a multiple month period of time. Because let's face it, there's a limited time frame where someone can keep their true intentions hidden from you, especially when you know what you're looking for. So this was also covered in Passport Bros Risk Debunk. It also was. Want to see more? Please do.
It sounds to me like you spent almost 2 years of your life chasing a ghost, and when she disappeared the first time, you probably should have put the last nail in the coffin and ended it. Now, I don't know enough about either one of you to be able to tell what was going on. I don't even know how old both of you are, so all I can do is guess what the problem was. Maybe she was emotionally damaged and had trust issues. Maybe her family disapproved of your relationship. But what it probably was another man or men. When she suddenly cuts you off like that and then reappears, it sounds to me like you were part of a rotation and she was just spinning a bunch of plates. I know this might be hard to hear, but when she stopped talking to you, she was probably grooming a new prize stallion. And when that one ran away, she decided to go back to the stable and try you again. But none of that is important now because the only thing you need to focus on is where to go from here. Now you ask whether you should keep trying to contact this woman or just cancel your trip. My advice is that you don't do either of those. You don't want to have anything to do with that train wreck of a girlfriend ever again. But the best way to forget her is come to the Philippines. I almost guarantee you, Thomas, a couple of weeks in the Philippines will be just what Dr. P ordered. And you'll find someone new that fills in all your blanks. And maybe you can fill in all her blanks too. You already got the tickets. You already got the time. So be like Nike and just do it. Finally, we have Joseph D. from Bacolod here in the Philippines. Howdy, neighbor. Let's see what Joseph has to say. Hi, P. I hope you don't think this is too weird of a question, but I tried to answer it on my own. And no one seems to know anything about it. So I figured if anyone could tell me what was going on, it'd be you. My Filipino girlfriend still lives at home with her two brothers, one younger and one older. When we're at my apartment, everything's normal. But when we're at her house, I notice that she changes the way she dresses or doesn't dress. She's always running around in a towel, which doesn't seem strange to me. But sometimes she'll wrap the towel too low around her waist and walk around topless, even if one of her brothers is home. But it gets worse. Her family showers outdoors using the bucket system, and on one side, there's only a low wall separating her yard from a field that I've seen people walking across. I know that most Filipinos shower with their clothes on, but my girlfriend didn't get the memo because she puts on quite a show for anyone in the house that happens to go outside or anyone that walks through the field. Now, I'm not a prude, but where I come from in the US, we don't walk around naked in front of family. So my question is this: what's the etiquette for Filipinos? In your culture, is my girlfriend's behavior acceptable? Well, Joseph, I have to admit that I've never been asked that question, but I do know the answer. Your girlfriend is weird. Filipinos are pretty conservative when it comes to nudity, and even though we're the biggest consumers of porn on the planet, we usually keep the nudity on screen, not in real life, and not where other people can see it, and definitely not where family can see it. Since you live here, I'm sure you've noticed that most Filipinos won't even wear a bikini. And to us, nudity is almost synonymous with sex. Now, you might have noticed that we do have a couple exceptions to that. Women don't think anything of breastfeeding in public.
This subject. Yep, I do agree it's very unusual. Very unusual. Especially with how very conservative the Philippines are. Definitely. But also pretty interesting. But hey, I think I can get the pattern here and see what's going on. I think I can. Now, this is based on speculation, but so I'll take it with a half a grain of salt. But however, in the Philippines and many other countries as well, there is a difference in beauty standards than there are here in the West. Shocking, am I right? Yeah, like having a tan very often can be frowned upon. People might say you're dating someone who's exotic, yada yada yada. So I wanted to bet that after seeing how that she's not doing this at your house or in the US, she's only doing this on the legal property or legal home of her family where she grew up at. Yeah, I'm gonna have to say maybe there's a little bit of payback here. Cause after being forced to deal with her entire life saying, hey, you don't meet the top beauty standards, yada yada yada, she might be wanting to get a little payback and say, hey, you said that, but I still managed to get myself this amazing Western man. If you're dealing with this with the woman you're talking to or seeing from overseas, there's an easy way to handle it. Say, maybe you should have her get a bikini to wear when you take her to the beach or to the pool, stuff like that. This is what I call a professor of mine back in college says this is what we call revenge, but pointing in the right direction. Or as other people say, success is the best kind of revenge. You just need to point it in the right direction. That's all. Very simple solution.
And you can easily find yourself on a jeepney sitting next to a woman who pulls one of.
All right, everybody, that's all we have time for today. If you like this content, by all means, subscribe, hit that notification bell, look us up on Patreon, leave a comment, especially if there's any other things you would want us to cover. We are here to help, especially to you Western men. because we know you don't get enough credit as it is. We already know that, but we do give you credit here on the Matthew and Carlene channel. We honest to God do. Thank you everybody for supporting us so far. Have a beautiful evening.